of the stuff that us Americans should be using to measure, metrics. It is a lot easier, but we've put up this roadblock in our brains that, oh, metrics is hard. It's really not. It's real easy because the numbers are easy. We stick with customary, and we've got odd numbers like 12 inches and 4 quarts and 2 pints and 2 cups and 5,280 and 1,760 and 36 and all those different kinds of numbers. Where with metrics, everything is a power of 10. And it should be so easy, but we Americans refuse to convert over. We refuse to convert over. So we got to learn it because it's out there, especially if you deal with international stuff. You will have to know what metrics is. If you go traveling with your parents, or when you get older and you go traveling with your family that you have, and you go to Mexico, you go to Canada, you go to Europe, you'll have to know what's going on with the metric system, okay? So, and it's real easy. We're going to cover length, capacity, and mass. Now, of course, lengtha means we're doing what? Measuring how long something is. But we're going to be using metrics. Metrics. The first one is M-I-L-L-I. Millimeter. Millimeter. Now, millimeter already, it's 2 on the thing to be recorded there, man, all right? 2 on the chair. Good to have you. He's tardy. Ask him why.
Why are you tardy?
And we say, bullcorn. You went over to Sonic and got a drink without getting us one, is what I think. I got a note. You're out. I got a note. Millimeter. How do we abbreviate it? M. Okie doke. I'm going to stop right here on that. A millimeter is the distance between my fingernails. That is a millimeter. Teeny tiny. Milli sounds teeny tiny. Okay? That's how you remember. A millimeter is every one of these teeny tiny marks on this side of this stick. If I was using the measuring device that we have here on the opposite side we used yesterday, again, in between my 2 fingernails right there is a millimeter. It is very small, isn't it? Very small. That's the first one we use. Now, there are some other lengths, but I'm only going to teach you the ones that are used most often, the most common metric measurements. We will learn tomorrow all of the measurements, but today we're just going to deal with the most common ones. What comes after millimeter? Centimeter. Centimeter. Abbreviation?
CM.
CM. All right. This is a nice meter stick I have here because it has one side that has all the teeny tinies, and then it has a side that has the centimeter. I'm going to turn it over. It'll be upside down, but you'll get the idea. In between my fingernails is a centimeter. A little bit longer, correct? It's kind of like an inch. It's shorter than an inch, but it's kind of like an inch. Okay? That is a centimeter. Now, I turn back to my teeny tinies, the millimeters, and I put my finger between, or on a centimeter that's listed. All the numbers on here are centimeter numbers. Yvonne, right here. In between my fingernails, how many teeny tinies are in there? 10 teeny tinies between my fingernails. So, it takes 10 MMs to make 1 CM. There's 10 teeny tinies in there. Alrighty? Same way on the one you'll be given right here, in between that centimeter right there, inside that centimeter, there's 10 teeny tinies. Same as what's in mine. Alrighty? Now, there's some other stuff in between this one and the next one we're going to do. We'll learn it tomorrow, but it's the one that's in between is not a common one. So what's the next common measurement? Meters. It jumps to meters. Very good. Jumps to a meter. Abbreviation. M. This is a meter between my hands. It's called a meter stick. This is 1 meter. When you compare it to a yard, it is longer, isn't it? But it's like a yard. To help in our brain, well, how long is a meter? I always think, well, it's like our yard. It's not exactly a yard. It's more than it, but it's like our yard. Just like centimeters, in between there, is not equal to an inch, but it helps me think of how far it is. It's like an inch. It's a little bit shorter. But a meter stick is a little bit longer than a yard. But it gives us an idea. It's like a yard. Now, go to our teeny tinies. How many teeny tinies are between my hands? 1,000. Pretty awesome thought right there. If you started to count all the teeny tiny marks right there, you would get up to 1,000 between my hands. 1,000. So, we're going to write 1,000 MMs. Make 1 meter. There's 1,000 teeny tinies. Because, remember, every one of the numbers here is worth 10. So you got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And I get over here to 10 centimeters. How many teeny tinies? There's 100 between my palm and my fingernail there. That's 100 teeny tinies. Then you got 10 of those to go all the way out here. I mean 100 of those. And what do you get? 1,000 teeny tinies. Now, let's go over here to this. The centimeter side. How many of these are on this? If you'll look right down here, the last number is 99, then the next one out to the end makes it 100 centimeters. Centimeters. 100 CMs. Centimeters. Everybody get that down. All right. Now, there are some other measurements between this and the next one we'll write down. But again, they're not very common, but yet they are there. I'm going to point out one that is in between centimeter and meter on this stick. We never use it. We will discuss it tomorrow. This side of the meter stick is measured in decimeters. We didn't write it up there. Okay. There, the white part is 1 decimeter. The orange part is another decimeter. There's 10 of them on there. You never see anything measured with decimeters. You either measure them with millimeters, centimeters, and then you jump to meters. I, in my 28 years of teaching, have never seen anything measured in decimeters. Alrighty? I've seen things measured in those, but never these. But yet it is a measurement. Okay? I'm not saying it's never used, but I've never seen it. Of course, I don't live in Europe either, right? Where they use this stuff. What you got, bub?
Right, 1 decimeter is 100 millimeters.
Right. Correct. Good job. But I don't
He said 100 millimeters.
whatever he said. It'll be 10,000, something like that. I figured. What's the last one, y'all?
Kilometers.
K-I-L-O. Kilometers. Now, what's another way us Americans say kilometer? Kilometer. All righty? Kilometers. Abbreviation. KM. Now, kilometers. What is a kilometer like in our regular measurement, Ethan? Miles. Miles. It's not a mile. Don't think that 1 kilometer is the same as 1 mile. It is like a mile. We measure long distances with miles. In the metrics, you measure long distances with kilometers, kilometers. Okay? Now, let's do some figuring here. We're not going to use it, and we're not going to go there, but it's really interesting. How many teeny tinies? Well, let's go the other direction then, so we can figure it. How many of these will make a kilometer? 1,000 of these makes a kilometer. So I'm going to come out here and I'm going to write 1,000 M's. Okay? Now let's go backwards. All right. If I have 1,000 of these, how many of these are there? Well, first, how many of these are in one of these? 100. So I have 1,000 of these. So how many zeros is that? How many zeros?
4, 6,
2 and 3 means there's 5 zeros with a 1, which makes how many CMs? 100,000 of these make a kilometer. Ooh, now the next one, y'all. Okay. How many teeny tinies on one of these? There's 1,000 teeny tinies. So I need 1,000 1,000s. How many zeros?
6, 8, 6.
All right. 1,000,000 teeny tinies in a kilometer. Glad I don't have to count it, but that's just an interesting little side note there, all right? Seeing how many's in there. Okay, we take our information now that we've got in our brain, and we can answer questions. For instance, I'm going to grab this so I won't have my metric stick. If I want to measure how wide a desk is, would I use these? No. Would I use these?
Yes. No. Maybe.
Maybe. Would I use these?
Yes.
Well, let's find out. If I'm going to use meters, that means there's going to be several of these. Well, I'll lay that bad boy down. It's not even 1 meter wide, is it? So will I use meters to measure the desk?
No.
That automatically puts me back on centimeters. I would like to measure in centimeters. So I'll lay that, whoops, wrong side. I'm going to do that one right there. Right there, across to there, and it's 44 and a half centimeters. So if I'm going to measure the desk, I would probably use centimeters. Use common sense, because the question you're going to be asked today is, what would you use to measure this? If I was going to measure the door, how tall the door is, what would I use? Meters. Meters is the most logical thing to use. I could use millimeters, right? But it might take me a while. Now I can figure real quick, one of these is 1,000. But once I get down there, I'd have to be counting. So logical is a meter, right? Logical is a meter. All right. Now, if I was going to measure from the outside of our building, outside the brick, up to the multi-purpose, what would I use? Of the ones we have here, which would we use?
Meters.
Meters. You think it's a mile up there? No. I would use meters. Kind of tough. Technically, I would use one of those that's in between here, but nobody ever uses it, so we would use meters.
Which one is that?
Okay? Hecto and deca. We'll learn those tomorrow.
Is that where octagon and all that?
No. Yes, if it was one of our commons, you would. Yes, sir. Okay? Now, if we were going to measure from Decatur to Alvord, kilometers or kilometers, right? Common sense tells you the shorter the thing is, the littler measurement you use. If I wanted to measure across how wide this eraser is on this pencil, would I use kilometers?
No.
I could get it. It's going to be decimal 0.0000000000000 something, won't it? But I don't want it like that. How about I just put it on my teeny tinies? Well, I'll use this. Put it on my teeny tinies here and see that it is 2 past the middle part, so that's 7 millimeters. It's 7 millimeters across there. The smaller it is, the smaller measurement you use. Thank you, sir. Everybody okay with common sense? Now, friends, if I was going to measure this door, is it going to be exactly a certain amount of meters? There's one. I'll put it up. There's 2 meters, right? And now it's going to be a piece of a meter, right? Is everybody with me? Somebody write down 2 whole up there on the board somewhere in the blank spot. Thank you, EA. 2, put a 2. We're at 2 whole meters, correct? Now I'm going to put my finger here. Now watch. I'm going to turn it around so I can have my centimeters. And I've got to go from the top to there, and it is 10 centimeters. So put an M by that, go off to the side, girlfriend, and put 10 cms. Is everybody with me? What we just did, you saw it is 2 whole meters, and then 10 centimeters is the height of this door. Guess I didn't want that one. This is what making measurement of metrics easy, because our decimal system is based on values of 10, just like the metric system is based on values of 10. Now, how many of these make, how many centimeters make a meter? 100. You all agree? So 1 centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. Is everybody with me? 1 centimeter is 1/100th. I have 10 centimeters. So that is 10 100ths. Or 10 hundredths. Simplify that, y'all. What is that? 1/10. How do you write 1/10 as a decimal? Decimal 1. So how tall is our doorway? 2.1 meters. Notice I don't have centimeters now because I turned my centimeters into decimal meters. You with me? What if it had ended up on 24 centimeters? We're just going to play for like here. We're just going to play for like. 24 centimeters. Now, what is every centimeter? It is 100th, right? But we have 24. How do you write 24 hundredths as a decimal? 0.24. You getting the key there? Look at that. Got the idea of that? What if we had 53 centimeters? That's 53 hundredths, isn't it? What's that going to be? 0.53. 2 and 0.53. How easy is metrics, y'all? You don't have to convert, well, I've got 6 twelfths or I've got 8 twelfths or something like that. I've got something over 10 or something over 100, and it makes it easy to turn it into a decimal. Okay? So, when we're measuring things in meters and we have extra leftovers in the form of centimeters, we can turn them right into decimals very easy, can't we? Put the whole number meter, and then if I have 75 centimeters, put 0.75 right there beside it. How hard is that? If I have 5 full meters and 7 centimeters, what would that be? 5.07. 70 would be 0.70, wouldn't it? Remember? Everybody with me? All right. Woo! That kind of got deep for some of us. Let's go on. Capacity. What's capacity? Liquids. All right. The first one we have, milliliters. How you know liters is liquid? What do y'all buy at Walmart?
Coke.
2-liter Dr. Peppers. That's metric, right? Liters. All right, ml. ml is the abbreviation. I want to get in your brain about how much a milliliter is. Now, the prefix milli, what does that imply?
Small.
Done. Remember I used this as my 1 ounce on Customary Friday? Remember doing that? That is 1 milliliter, if you can see underneath my hand there. Because this takes 29 milliliters to fill it up. And I only want 1 milliliter to show you what it looks like. So it's about that much right in the bottom. See how tiny a milliliter is? Teeny tiny measurement of liquid. If a doctor wanted to measure the tears that I produce in my eyes, what would he use? Milliliters. He's sure not going to use liters. I do not cry a big old jug of Coca-Cola, do I? No, I don't think your body has enough tears to do that. It's very tiny, y'all. Then, we jump straight to liters when we're dealing with liquids. Capacity. We don't have a centi. There is a centiliter. We don't ever use it. Okay, I'm talking about the common ones. Tomorrow, we're going to learn all of them tomorrow. We're just learning the common ones today. Abbreviation? L. All right. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it takes 10,000. Is it 10,000?
It's 1,000.
Is it 10,000? No, it's be the same as this, y'all. No, it doesn't either. It's two of them. No, yeah, it's not one. I think it's 1,000. I think it's 1,000, y'all. Okay. I'm being dumb right now. What am I doing here? Oh, mLs. Forgot where I was. Ah, it takes 1,000 of these to make a liter. Now we know what a liter is. Don't think of a 2-liter bottle. Think of half of it. There are some convenience stores that do sell 1-liter Dr. Peppers and 1-liter Cokes. They're not real popular, so they don't make a lot of them, and you don't see them everywhere. But I have seen them where they have 1-liter bottles. Okay, they're a little bit larger than that quart the other day. You drink that, remember you're going to have to go pretty quick. Tell Mom pull over. Got to find a tree. What's the last one y'all think? Kiloliter. Kiloliter. And it's KL. And what do you think?
100.
It's going to be the same as this right down here, isn't it? It's going to be 1 what? Million mLs, but 1,000 Ls. Technically, we're not going to use him. It's just interesting to know. We just really need to know it takes 1,000 liters.
Is that more than a gallon?
We'd have to measure it out. Oh, brother. I think 1,000 liters is more than a gallon. Okay. Now let's go to common sense. Let's go to common sense. If I'm going to measure how much water my bathtub holds, am I going to use milliliters? No. I'm going to do kiloliters. Okay? What if I wanted to measure how much liquid this would hold? Liters. And if I wanted to measure how much liquid is in my eye wash bottle? Milliliters. Common sense, right? Common sense. Let's go to mass. What is mass? Oh, Miss Boca's going to kick your tail. Amount of matter. I think of it as how much. I said much and I spelled must. Now, where am I? How much space an object occupies is mass. No, you keep going, brother.
Can I move over there then?
No, you're fine. Right there. How much space? The amount of matter. Hey, y'all. It's lightweight. But the science teacher can't know I said that. It's like weight. It's not weight. I didn't say that. Okay, mass is how much space it does. All right, first thing we want to do is probably what? Milligrams. Mass is grams. Milligram. Abbreviation? MG. I grossed out first period today. A milligram is like if you got a kind of a long fingernail and you peel that fingernail off, that little chunk of fingernail is about a milligram. It's a little sliver of stuff. It's not much.
How do you
It's
weigh
not
it?
much.
Or how do you?
You don't weigh it.
How do you get the space of it when it?
It's just a little piece of thing, and they do it with computers and all that. All right, what do you think the next one is? Gram. G. That's right. Thank you, man. G. And how many milligrams? 1,000 mgs will make a gram. Okay? A gram. Alright, and the last one. Kilogram. Now you hear about kilograms, kg, you hear about kilograms on the news all the time. When the police or the federal agents make a drug bust, the news people will say, the police confiscated 400 kilos of marijuana or 400 kilos of cocaine. Kilos is kilograms. They just shorten it to kilos. The street name is kilos. Kilograms. When they show a picture of that confiscation, you will see a pile of either plasticed up stuff or looks like sack paper rounded up, and there's a little round sack looking thing wrapped up, and it's about this size right here. Have y'all seen pictures like that on the news when they show drug busts? Or maybe in the newspaper. Border Wars, if you watch that, you'll see stuff. They're talking about kilograms, alrighty? And it's about this size right here. Okay? About that size. And they're talking about kilograms. Now, let's write down. I'm not going to write down how many milligrams, but how many grams? 1,000 grams make a kilogram. Again, common sense. If I'm going to measure the mass of this stool right here, what am I going to use? Kilograms. If I'm going to measure the mass of this expo marker, grams. What about just the lid? Milligrams. How many little fingernails is the same as this? Alrighty? It's kind of gross, isn't it? Only if you chew on them after picking your nose. It's worse if you pick someone else's nose and then chew on them. Kill it, brother.